Okay, so like I said, today we're going to look at positioning. So particularly we're going to look at flexbox. Okay, so flexbox allows you to align position items in a particular direction. Okay, positioning items either within aligning items either vertically or horizontally. So we're going to see how that works. Okay, so for this purpose, I have some, maybe I should just make it 4 for now, or maybe let me just remove this and make it like, okay, let me make it 4. Okay, so I have this thing here, and this is it. Okay, so these 4 articles, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Sorry, your screen is not showing.
What happened? But it says I'm sharing. Is it, you're not seeing anything on my screen? Is that what you mean?
No, we are seeing your screen. Is this it? Okay, you can see it.
Okay.
Yes, I can see your screen.
Can you reduce the volume of your? I think something is on there. Can you? Okay. Okay. So can you see my VS Code?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me go out and come in again.
Okay. So you can also see my browser, right?
Yes, yes.
Fantastic. So these are just articles. The only thing I've done here is to put these colors and put the background color and make it look like this. Apart from that, really nothing. Just basically a test, which is these articles here.
Okay.
Okay. And then, so there are about 4 of them. So it's the same thing. They're basically similar. And then I also have the header here. Okay, maybe the header is not showing very well. Let me just put a color here. So let's put a color white, which is FFF. Okay, no, it's not showing. So yeah, so of course this is in okay, so let me just do this instead. So that's this basically the A elements are inside the header. So that's what I'm just doing here. So I'm just going to do test decoration to be none. Okay, so that move the line, and then I can just take this color. Okay, so these are the headers. Okay, let me just see, maybe. Okay, so just put the padding, no problem. So basically, these are just basic stuff that we already learned. You have the article, you have this, the main, and then so today I want us to learn how to arrange elements on the page. To be able to align element properly. For instance, if you look at the top here, you can see this video icon here, and then this, just like when you have your Facebook, okay, maybe let me just look at an example. Okay, let's look at this element. See how they are arranged. They're all properly aligned.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can actually use Flexbox to arrange elements like this, like on a straight line. So in one direction, either in this direction or in vertical direction. So you can arrange. Yeah. So how do you do that? Now we have these articles here. So for you to be able to do this kind of arrangement, you have to put all the elements you want to arrange in a container. So in this case, now we have the container, which is the main. Okay, so these are the articles. They're all together. This is one article. This is another article. So they're inside the main. So what I need to do now to really apply the flexbox, let me just put this comment here. Yeah. So the first thing you need to show that an element is a flexbox. Okay, it's not like you're going to physically put them in a container, but you put them in a container in CSS. Like to put them in that container, this is the container, the main. Okay, all I just need to do is to do the property and call it display, or in lowercase, of course, flex. Now see what happened as I just put this. I'll go back and you see what happened. What's happened. If I go back, just by putting that line, it has just arranged them in one direction. In this case, in the horizontal direction. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's even change these things to, maybe we can also work here. Let me change it to a list instead of just change this to a list. And okay, so because this is a block level element. Okay, so that's why I'm changing them a list. I'll just do this. They are reached. Okay, so I'm just going to change. So you can see normally when you put a list item, yeah, you're going to have them vertical like this. But now I can make this to, this is like a list, right? CSS positioning, home, services, about, and all of that. So I can make them to appear on horizontally, and it's very easy to do that. All I just need to do is to take this one as, because this is a container that contains them. So I'll just do a display flex there. So I'll do a flex. Okay. So this property is very important. Not just to display flex. That's all I need to do there. And then if I go back, see, just arrange them physically. And this is because that's what we call flex direction. So flex direction is basically the direction along which you want to arrange your items. Okay. So these items are arranged in a row. Okay. So you can see that if by default, the flex direction is, okay, I think let's work with this main here. Okay. By default, the flex direction is row. So if I do row here, nothing changes. Okay. So that's the default. But I can also change the direction. I can say, okay, I want this to start from article 4. Meanwhile, I'm not changing anything in the HTML. The HTML remains the same. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I want to change it to row reverse. Okay. So if I do that, you see it now starts from 4, 3, 2, 1. So you can actually have, without moving the HTML in the code, you can rearrange the items on the page. Okay. So this flex direction, but the default one is row. So when you put row, it doesn't, whether you put it or not, it just assumes it's row. Now, there's another direction also we can do. I can change to column. Okay. And then it goes back to that default, the way it was before. Okay, the same item. Okay, so this is very, very important. Okay, so you can see, sorry. So if I come here, remember, see, I'm not touching the HTML, like everything is the way it is, right? So I'll just change it again to row, which is the default one. Or maybe row reverse to make it more interesting. So that the items now start from 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Now, just for the purpose of what I want to demonstrate here, I'm going to just remove 1. So just going to remove 1 so that we can have some space. Go back. So we have Yeah, so you can see the flex container contains some space now. And what the flex container does is that you can arrange elements just within the space, the flex container in this case. Okay. So now it's not looking nice because we still have this space here. Maybe we can even also increase the width. Okay, this 100%, the main. Maybe we can increase the width to like maybe like 400. Let's see, just to have. Okay, no. So let's just make it 300. Okay, that's the width of the article. Sorry, that's not the width I wanted. I wanted the width of, okay, this one. So 95% of the parent. Okay, fantastic. Now, see, this is not evenly distributed within the flex container. Okay, you can also make sure that everything is evenly distributed within the flex container. And how do you do that? You just need to, there's a property called justify content. Okay, so justify content can be center. Okay, let's do center first and see what happens. So it places the whole items. These are called flex items. It places the whole item in the middle of the container. Okay, remember this is a container. In this case, container is the thing that houses all the article which is in here. Okay, and that's where you write this. Okay, so you see in there. Now there are other properties you can also use to arrange these flex items. Okay, so let's do this flex start. So you can do a flex start, which means you want the items to be arranged starting from the. Okay, now again, this can be a bit confusing now because the flex start now, the start is actually number one. So even if this is, I have changed the direction reverse. So the flex start is now starting on the right. So I want to change back the direction to row instead of reverse so that we can have the actual thing and it should look what we expect. Okay, so if you put flex start, provided that the direction is row, not reverse. Okay, so row, so it's starting from the beginning. Okay, now you can do flex end. So flex end means that the thing should start from the end. So you need to move, everything should be from the end here on the right. So if I change this to flex end, okay, you can see now something like that. Now there's a lot of properties. So there's another one called flex. Oh no, let's just do center again. So I mean, this center is very popular. So you can see, just place the thing inside in the middle of it. Okay, so let's now also how about occupying the whole thing, like evenly distributing the elements in the space. Now, before this was created, this flexbox was created, it was very, very difficult to really arrange items the way we are just moving around easily. Okay, so now let's do something. I want to do space between. So space evenly. Okay, let's start with space evenly. All right, so I want to within the space, what space evenly does that, it's going to distribute the items around the container evenly. So see that. So you can see the space here, the same space all through both left and right of each item. Now space between, there's also space between. You see what that one does. Okay, so make sure that the space between each of the articles are the same. Okay, and then you also have space around. Okay, space around, it looks a bit, yeah. So the space around the items are the same. So because these two items are both flex items, so the space here is double because it's basically about the space around each of the items. The space around here is from here to there. The space around this one is from here to there. So that's why I now have this one to be double. Okay, so you can basically just arrange items like this. Now, how about arranging them vertically? Okay, that's what next one, align items. So what we're going to do, going to be aligned item. Let's do flex start and see what happens. Okay, so that seems like, okay, let's say second. Okay, it looks like nothing has changed, but the thing is that something has changed, but let's see what's going on. So I'm going to just, for the purpose of this, I'm going to reduce. Okay, let's just copy this thing like this. Okay, so when we reduce it like that, so we're going to really see the effects of the whole thing. Okay, so let us do. So I'm just going to make it one line. Okay, so maybe let me make this one. I think it will make sense to me like this. Say, okay, yeah, it makes sense to have it like this. No, this other one is, yeah. So now let's see what's going on here. So I do what do I do? Flex end. Sorry, align item flex end. Like I said, it's vertically. So if I do flex start, it's going to start from the top instead. Now you see, it's now going to start from the top, which is flex start. Okay. Now, why this one is remaining the same way? Because this one, because the width, the length, the height already is occupying the whole thing. That's why it's now showing. It's not showing that it's moving, but basically it's the same thing that's happening. Okay, because it has a fix, has a larger height. Okay, so it's occupying the whole thing now, but it's showing on these two. Okay, that you can align them. So this is vertical alignment. So we're now aligning the items. So let's see if I can align them in the center. Okay, so let's do that. If I do instead of flex that center, now see what happens. So it aligns the items in the center. Maybe I should just add this property here to the first one to make it a little bit more. Probably that would make it just to differentiate them. Okay, so see that making sure that this is aligned properly. Now, when you see your WhatsApp picture and the name from your WhatsApp picture, it's actually using flexbox. They arrange the name and although we don't have time to do that one, but we'll do it sometime. We arrange the picture and then the title, that's your name, just to be in the middle, just there. So if I do, in fact, let me just do this article. This is article 3. Okay. Let's just do something like this. Let's say border radius 50%. Let's see what we have. Okay, no, it's not going to. Maybe so. Worry about that. Let's not confuse. Okay, so you can arrange them vertically. Remember, the justify content will arrange in this direction, but this one moves up, down. So let me just make it again. Align items. Let's do flex end. Okay, so I'll just go it down. Okay, so it's same. Yeah, so this is basically how this flex item works. Okay. Now, you also have align self. So if I do, let me just add one more item. So let's add fourth one. Okay, so we already have the fourth one here, so let me just remove it. So for the purpose of this, I'm just going to do this. Okay, so I have the fourth one. Can see the fourth, and so whenever you put the flex item, the align items, it works on all of them equally. Okay, why it's showing as if it's not working on this? Of course, of the content. The content is already making the height to be as this. But you can see this two now that has smaller content. It's moving up and down. Now, if I change this, you can see that it changes automatically, both of them. So if I do flex start, both of them go up. See, both of them go up. Now, what if I want this one to be up and want this one to be down? Okay, I can also do that. Now, but as long as I have this, what I have to now go to the element itself. So I want the fourth one to be down or fourth. So I just do 4. So this itself is a flex item. So what I need to do is to say, okay, so I'll say align self. Okay, center. Let me just do this. See why this one is the center, this one is there. But so if you are just using the aligned items, it's going to work on all of them equally. But if you want to target one particular element and then want to change the position of the element, right, it's going to be, yeah. So I can move this one down if I want to. Okay, let me just take this one down again. Yeah, this I put it in the center, so I'll do flex and to see this one still remain where it is, so up, down. Okay. And so you can basically just move things around and arrange them and align them properly. Okay, and align, especially when you have an icon or a logo with some text, you want to align them in the same on the same line. Remember, this alignment is basically in one direction. You need it's a one-dimensional layout. Okay, the one-dimensional layout just basically, I mean, like I don't arrange them either vertically or horizontally, just in one direction. Okay. So, I mean, let's just put small thing on the article. Let's just put a border just to make it look a bit more interesting. So, so have border radius. Let's do from 10 pixels just to make it look. I like to make stumps, these things look a little bit more interesting. Yeah, okay. So you can see that we can, basically just arrange these elements in these different directions. So again, if I do flex direction, row reverse. So I want to reverse the row. So it's going to start, the fourth one goes here, and this one starts here. So you can also do that if you want. So without changing the HTML, you're not touching the HTML, you're not changing anything. You're just basically moving the stuff around. Okay, so this is very, very important. So let's also do that here. So let's look at this, because now we have already made this to be a flex container. All right, the header. Okay, so of course we'll put the flex. So one thing we can do is that we can put these items, we can just divide this item across this row, right? We can just distribute it by saying justify items. So content and saying, let's just do center first. Let's just put everything in the center. So it puts in the center. Okay, what if we just want to spread it across, which probably not a good idea, but let's just try. So I'll just say space between. Okay. So let's just have, you can see, just spread them, space between. We can also say space around. Right, maybe the best one could be, yeah, space, same space, but I think probably the best one could be the space evenly, so that we have the same space here and that space here, because this space is double this one at the end. So so can just say space evenly. Okay, so you can always learn more about okay, so let's see. Flexbox. Okay, so remember, all these things are things so you can really find out what they are. Okay, so complete guide to flexbox, CSS tricks. Let's open. Okay, and of course this MDS. So you can even find more example of how you can see there's a flex direction arranged in this direction. And then you also have this direction, which is the column direction. Okay, so this is flex direction row. This is row reverse that we just done. Okay, you can see once you have a container, you can put the flex direction, that row reverse or column. Okay, you also have flex wrap. Flex wrap, how it works is that once the element fills in, okay, I think we should just demonstrate flex wrap. So in that case, we would have to maybe add more. Yep, let's just have some more. I'll just name this one 5, this one 6, and this one 7. So let's just see what we have first of all. See, now that we have more elements. Okay, so you can see we have more elements scattered over. So you can just move, you can see we can just use CSS to move these things around. Okay, okay, let's even put this one here. Sorry, I think we need to rename these ones just to have the appropriate name. 5, 6, 7. Okay, so it looks a bit more, yeah. So we can also maybe put one of this in the center. I'll put the sixth one in the center, align in the center. So what I just need to do is to go to my CSS and write the rule for that, article 6, and then align self. You can see this align self override the align items property, okay, for a particular element. So I'll just put it in the center, and then you see the sixth one Okay, it looks like the sixth one and the seventh one they have the same class, so I need to change the class. Okay, so because the sixth one I just want to put. Okay, so you can see you can move things around and make it look, kind of nice and look a bit more interesting. All right. But of course, when we can't really move them with mouse like this, yeah. But when we do, when you get to the point where you learn JavaScript and the JavaScript framework, you can actually use mouse and move these things. You can write program that will use mouse to change the position. Okay, but this is like more like start easy. We're not allowing user to move this thing. We're just using CSS to move them around. Okay, so but I need to, since it's counting from 7 to 6, 5, let me just use the change the direction again to the row instead of row reverse. Okay, so where is it? So it's not row reverse. Let's do so that it just be exactly the way it is on there. Yeah, so you can see this is where arranging this item. This is very, very important because there are a lot of things you can do on the page on your website by just understanding how to manipulate this, place these elements like this. Okay, so it's very, very key that you understand. So the first thing is all the items, you must put them in one container, and this is why the div, when you were asking about, oh, why do we need div? Yeah, div acts as a container for us, but in this case we're not even using div, we're just using the main. Okay, which you can also use div if you want. Yeah, so use main here to put everything, all the articles in there. So the main becomes a flex container, and then the flex container, it's just like you want to arrange your books, so you have a table, and then the books are now on the table. You can then arrange them as you want. Okay, the table becomes the flex container, and then the books become the flex item. Yeah, so like each of these items now you can override them. Okay, you can also reorder them, right? So if I can say, okay, I want this 51. Remember, the row will just always count alphabetic, according to the numbers, right? Yeah. So if I want this 51 to be at the beginning, I can also do that. Okay, that's a property called order. So let's go. In fact, since we already have this, let's just see. Okay, let me do the one for fifth. So I'll do article for 5. Okay, so I can do this. I can say order. Now this one is on the flex item. So by default, everything is 0. All the order is 0. So you can say I put 0, nothing has changed, right? So if I put something less than 0, because all of them have order 0, all of them have order 0, 0, 0, all of them. So if I put order 0 on the fifth one, minus 1 on the fifth one, let's say it's minus. Now, because minus is less than 0, of course, so it's going to push it to start at the beginning. You see? So you can see that we have changed the order of the items. Now, this is the fifth one. Okay, so you can move around. I can basically just move the second one to the end. Okay, so to do that, I can do this. So I can just say order. Now, because apart from 5, okay, all of them have order 0. So I just need to increase the order to make it put at the end. Okay, you can see now the 7th to 5th to second one is at the end by just putting the order. Remember, this thing is very, very, I think, very, very interesting because the HTML, it's not even touched. It doesn't change the HTML. We're just using this to show the user how they want things to be. Okay, and yeah, there are some apps actually that you see this kind of let me just say, I can't remember anyone now that you see this kind of arrangement. For instance, maybe if you have sometimes you want to put your, okay, I think a good example, like when you're using this POS, right? This one that is touch screen, sometimes the number just changes the position. The next time you want to put your pin, they change the order of the number. I don't know whether anyone or any of you have noticed that. So it's something like this you can use to achieve that. Okay, so by just you can randomly change the order of the items on the page each time the user views the page. Okay, but of course, I mean, that will also, with the help of JavaScript, that will make that more. So yeah, so basically, this is about Flexbox, but there are few things. There are a lot of other things about Flexbox. This is not the only thing, a lot of other things, but these are very, very key things that we can do with Flexbox. Okay, so one thing I want to do, of course, this is still the flex item. Remember, this is the flex container is this one. That's where you have the only place you have the display flex direction, justify items, align item is in the flex container. Please take note. Now, this is a flex item. Okay, flex item. What's the flex item? Just the one of the items inside the flex container, like this. Remember, this article and article or one. The article is just a class that applies to all the articles, and then this one applies specifically to this item. So so what we can do here is so let's do something here. Article. Okay, so that's what we call flex scroll. Okay, so we have flex scroll, we have flex. Okay, let's just, I think we'll just try that on one of these. What the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to change this space around to flex start. Okay, so flex start to make sure that everything starts from, but of course, because we don't have because of the space. Okay, I think I wanted to talk about flex wrap. Okay, so I think the flex wrap will just be let me just add one more item. Maybe you can like let's see how. Okay, you can see what's going on here. You know, it's just trying to fit in the items. But let's just do something here. Okay, it has changed, right? So the flex lab, what it does is that when you notice that the items has gotten to the end of the when they are gotten to the end of the container, right? So you are trying to fit in more items. So it will change it, it will move to the next line. That's just what it does, right? It will just change it, move it to the next line to make sure that everything is properly arranged. It's always making sure that everything on the page is properly arranged. Okay, so if I go back here and remove the flex wrap, you see, okay, see that, I mean, at this point, you can say that, oh, the thing is looking very ugly. Okay, now, so let me just put, it's better we always put these numbers so that makes sense. This should be 8, this should be 9, this should be, oh, sorry, I'm just, so let's see, okay, this is 7, okay, this should be 8, and this should be 10, oh, sorry, 9, and this should be 10. So understanding Flexbox, you can say that you can do a lot of things quickly, easily, okay, without really, you don't struggle too much, that you can achieve a lot with this. So so now I'm just going to put a flex wrap. So at this point, you just make sure that everything is on, equally spaced and all of that. Now you can still see that. Okay, what happened now in this case? Imagine a situation where you have like pictures, or you want to arrange like this, okay, and then because of the different size of the picture, you will now see that you have this kind of spaces. Of course, this doesn't look nice. Okay, so you have this kind of, because I mean, you can still arrange this. So what you can do here is that, okay, since this two is here, I can let's just try something here. Okay, for the 2 flex. Okay, we'll have 2 here. Flex grow. Okay, so the flex grow, what it does is that it tells the browser to fill in the remaining space within the flex container. Okay, so I want to fill in the remaining space within the flex container. Okay, by default, this thing is 0. So if I put 0 here, it doesn't change anything, right? So that's it. Now, but because all of them is 0, so if I want to fill in the remaining container part of the container, right, with this two, because that's the last one that is here. So I can just go and say, okay, let's grow. Just put a value. Doesn't matter. Just put a value 1. So it will just fill in the remaining part of the. Okay, let's try that with 5 and see what happens. Let's see if there's. Okay, just put 1 again. Okay, so it tries to push the other items just to make sure that they is also, but you can see, but even if both of them are 1, remember this one does not have enough space. Okay, this one does not have enough space. So even if both of them are 1, because this one has space, enough space, so it's able to push and occupy those, fill up the space, the gaps in between. Okay. All right. So of course, when you want to do a grid, of course, our next class is going to be CSS grid. Okay, CSS grid is a bit different because CSS grid, this is really 2-dimensional. This one we are saying here is 1-dimensional. So typically, when you want to do like a gallery, pictures of gallery, I mean, you may want to use grid instead of this CSS flexbox, because CSS flexbox basically work well for 1-dimensional layout. Okay, as we can see here. Okay, when you're talking about moving things in one direction, again, you can see the order as well. So when you put the order, so yeah, I think you should go through this. This is flex grow. So yeah, you see this one is longer, larger than. Okay, let's just do something here, Kevin. So the flex grow, I've noticed that this one is way too much. So I can just try to share the spaces between the 10 to 1. This is 10 and 2. So one thing I can do here is I can say article 10. Flex grow, in fact, let's grow, let's grow, put 2, for instance. Okay, because this, okay, let's just remove this one first. Okay, yeah, again. Now, if you look at the spaces now, this is already occupying the space. Let's just put it 0 and then go. Oh, no. I'm changing a different one. This should be 0. Okay, 0. So even if this one is 2, okay, let's go is 2, because there's no immediate space that it can occupy by itself, because there's really no space here. Yeah, but this one has this space on the right. This one does not have the space. You can see it just remains the same. Okay, why this one moved a little bit? Because there was an extra space. Let's just go back and remove the flex grow on the number 5. Okay, so let's make it 0, which is a default one. Okay, you can see. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, but I think this is just basically the things we need to know. And again, whenever you want to specify the width of the element, right, we don't use, typically we use flex basis. Okay, so let's do flex basis. I think for element number 6. So flex basis is just basically specifying the width. So I'm just going to do 100 pixels. Remember, the width of these guys are 200, right? It's 300. So let me do 400. So this, you can see. And let me do 500 instead for the 6th one. So if you want to specify the width for the flex item, okay. Right, you can see. There's also what we call flex shrink, okay. If you put a width that is too much for the item, so let me do this. Let's look at the width of the thing. So I'm going to let me just do 1,000, maybe 800. Let's do 500. Okay. So by default, the elements are allowed to shrink. So let's say the width is more than, and just put for each item, so we'll put 800, 900 maybe. Okay, so because we have, if we have specified a width for this particular one, okay, which is the 600. So you can see, meanwhile, we have width here, but typically what you want to do for flex item, instead of putting a width for the flex item, what you can do is to put flex basis. Okay, because we're applying this to all of them, but if you want to do them each by a, just want to like adjust the width by itself, like for each of the elements, you need to use the flex basis. Okay, so do flex, that's also flex shrink. That, so if the items, if there's no space for the items on the page, okay, so it can shrink it to just still fit into the flex container. That's the flex shrink. There are things that don't shrink, so shrink. So of course, nothing has changed. But yeah, so these are properties you just need to take note of. And yeah. So any question? Any question?
From my end is clear.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, so what you guys just need to do is to make sure that you have well, it's like, okay, yeah, I can go through, yeah, so you see the flex items, arranging items like this, you know, start putting it, arranging from the right or from the left. So this is called the main axis. Whenever the flex direction is a row, okay, that's the main axis, the axis with along which you want to arrange the items. Okay, see these items here. All you just need to do is to create the, like in the see, look at the box, and the box become the flex container. These are the items that are inside the box. Okay, this is very, very important. And you can see this is reverse. So instead of starting from 1, 2, 3, now 3, 2, 1. So you can see. So these are properties. So the next one we're going to be looking at next time will be CSS grid, which is now what we use to properly arrange items. Okay, so this is two-dimensional. Okay, so we're going to learn how to put, it's a bit more, it's less straightforward than flex box, of course. Yeah, but it's also very, very good. Okay, so when you see things like, let me see, I don't know what I want to show now. And so this is an example. Okay, so you can see this small image here, this image, and then see how these things are aligned. This is an example of where you can use flexbox to make sure that this text is aligned along this properly, and these things are properly aligned the way they are. Okay, see this 11 views 16 hours ago, AI versus you, and align items, small items like this, they are very, very key to, okay, so very, very important. So if you want to arrange, align items like this, like that, okay, all this, okay, look at this thing here, this small thing here, and then this text, is flexbox can help you to achieve this. You have a picture on the left, you have this text on the right, putting them together, it's flexible. So all you just need to do is to make sure that this image here and this text, they are inside one container. Okay, they're inside one container, then you now put flex. Of course, you are arranging them. Now, this one as well and this one, if you want to arrange them, they have to also be inside one container, these two. Now, but this container and this one, they flex. These are two different items, this here and this one. Okay, so to arrange them properly like this, vertically like this, you then need to use the flex direction to be column and then arrange it. Okay, so this is how these things are achieved. And you can see this image here, and then these items. I see how they are all arranged on the same line. That's flexbox. And this is another example. All of these things there, see, they are arranged in the same line. Flexbox. Okay, you can also, okay, even a better example here. Look at this icon here, and this here, and this item. This is flexbox kind of thing. Okay, that you can use to arrange properly with flexbox. You just need to make sure that the two things or the three things you want to arrange, they're in the same box. Okay. So just like in the same table, and you want to arrange them properly. Yeah, so these are very good example of where you can use flexbox. Okay, well, later on we're going to see them how they're properly used. Okay, so if we don't have any question, then we can call it a day for today. And then for next week, would I have to update you guys. We'll either meet on Friday or Saturday again. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Though today was a very good day.
Mhm.
But I didn't see. I used my laptop. I didn't see the screen. I used my handset. The screen was not coming up. But however, I will get the video.
Oh, okay. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. All right, no worries. All right, guys. So I'll see you guys again.